Or they're anticipating in 2023 it won't look as abundant as it did in previous years. And the fear is being fueled by possibly not having enough money. Once again, once that starts happening, we think, okay, I just have to do more. Hello, and welcome to the Business of Happiness podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tarryn MacCarthy, and today is going to be a great day, an amazing day. Today, we're talking about, is it even possible to really be happy as a doctor or dentist or a healthcare provider? Is it a nurse or a physical therapist or a chiropractor? Anybody in the healthcare professions, is it even possible to be happy? And not just happy in your life, but really happy in your work. I mean a radical happiness. Not just it's fine, it's okay, it pays the bills, it allows me to go on wonderful vacations. No, I mean serving your soul. Is that possible? Is it possible that dream that you had when you were 19 or 20 and you thought, oh my gosh, I would love to be in a place of service to others and taking care of others and healing others, and that would just be so meaningful to me. Is that dream of the fulfillment of it possible? Is it possible to let your work, invite your work, allow your work to fuel your soul so that you can be even better for your family, even better for yourself? I'm here to tell you it is. You know, several years ago, I embarked on this mission of the Business of Happiness podcast. And as so many of you know, if you've been listening to my podcast, you know where this came from. This came from my own experience of deep depression and anxiety and overwhelm as a business owner in orthodontics, mom of 3, trying to do all the things, and finding myself just completely bereft of happiness, scared, overwhelmed, wishing my life away. So the Business of Happiness launched from a place of wanting to understand, how are other people, successful people who have a dream of growing businesses or being highly ambitious or serving people in their community, how do they also find a way to be happy? Not just burning themselves to the ground. That was where the Business of Happiness started. And it's such a mission to me. I believe so deeply in it. But you know, what I've noticed over the years of coaching my one-on-one clients and of having these interviews with incredible men and women is often I hear, I don't even know what happiness looks like. Or, how do I even know what I want? I'm not really sure what I want anymore. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried decreasing days per week, I've tried increasing my fees, I've tried hiring team members, but I'm still not feeling happy. I don't even know what I want anymore. Or another thing I hear from many people is, how do I listen to my intuition? Tarryn, you keep telling me the answer is within, but how do I even hear that voice? That inner wisdom you're telling me I have, I don't even know what that sounds like. And some people, even when they hear that voice, are scared to trust it. Another very common thing that I've heard from my clients. How can I trust myself? How can I trust my feelings? How can I trust my thoughts? How can I trust my inner wisdom? Fascinating. So from all of this, I created an incredible course that I'm so excited to tell you about. It's called Radical Happiness for Practitioners. And I'm telling you about it today on this episode because I want you to know it's possible. And I want to tell you a little bit more about the program so that you can know that there is a way to be radically happy as a practitioner in healthcare. It's possible. I am living proof. You know, several of the modules that I am recording for this course, I have done in memory and commemorating some incredible men and women who during their journey as healthcare practitioners, as business owners, have succumbed to the pain and the depression and the overwhelm. I was reading a study this morning, the ADA's 2021 Dentist Wellbeing Survey report. 80%, 80, my friends, 80% of all dentists reported moderate to severe stress at work. 80. If you are feeling stress at work, please hear me. You are not alone. 80% of us in the dental field are feeling that way in 2021. There's been a lot of talk online on how accurate these representations are. This was done in 2021, just published this year. Women were reporting stress and anxiety at work in dentistry at a rate of 2 times that of men. Twice as often are they feeling overwhelmed and depressed. 54% of all surveyed dentists reported medium to high levels of depression. Self-reported depression. That's 1 in 2. That means out of every 2 dentists, one of them is moderately to severely depressed. Happiness isn't just a luxury. Happiness is an absolute necessity. Happiness and well-being and mental well-being, feeling positive about yourself, positive about this journey we call life, positive about our passions for serving others, is the most important aspect of what we do. And these numbers terrify me. This is why I created the course. You know, in this report, they also mentioned that those dentists they surveyed, 39 years of age and younger, scored higher risk for depression and anxiety than older dentists. So dentists under the age of 40 were 68% of those dentists who reported depression. 68% of us who are feeling moderately to severely depressed are under the age of 40. At arguably the most vitally important time of our lives. These are parents of young children. These are business owners launching their careers. These are men and women who are healthy in their bodies enough to take on the world, to be fit enough to explore hiking and traveling and running marathons and living their best lives, skiing, water skiing, snow skiing. These are the men and women who are most depressed. It's for this reason that I created this course. This program is the how of your why. You know, one of the things you might hear over and over and over again at personal development conferences, on podcasts, or business seminars, the big thing that Simon Sinek made so famous is, what is your why? And when we were 20 or 19, man, we remembered that why. And maybe you remember that why now. Maybe your why was feeling bullied as a child and you went to the dentist or the orthodontist and you had your teeth straightened and you finally found your courage and your self-confidence. And that's what you want to instill in our youth. Maybe your why was an incredible dentist who in your life inspired you to be an entrepreneur and give back to the community. Maybe your why is serving underserved and underprivileged children in your community, and you're working in a FQHC or in a community dental center, and you care passionately about those people who need our help the most. Maybe your why is like mine. My why is my brother who took his life because he didn't feel that happiness and that empowerment in his life. My why are all the men and women who are suffering today, who have such an incredible job to do, such an important job to do, to support and empower and literally put smiles on children's faces on a daily basis. Those men and women to turn around and put smiles on their own. For us to finally learn, because we don't learn these things in medical and dental school, right? We learn how to take care of everyone else. But we don't learn how to take care of our own mental well-being. We don't learn that important blend of self-care. In fact, what is self-care anyway? That's what radical happiness focuses on. Because self-care is not a bubble bath on a Friday night. It's not. Maybe for you, it's a part of how you feel good. But that's not how we build happiness. Self-care isn't taking the occasional trip to the Bahamas. I mean, yes, taking time off and caring for yourself and allowing yourself, giving yourself permission for rest and recovery is incredibly important, but on a daily basis, not just once a year. This message is so important now more than ever. You know, I feel like so many of us went into 2022 with enormous expectations. We thought we were going to revitalize or revamp or end the year completely different people. We'd finally come out of COVID, or at least the parts of COVID that were limiting us significantly in terms of our practice. Our businesses were finally getting back on their feet. To so many of you business owners who transitioned an entire team of incredible team members who left after the lockdown or maybe didn't return to healthcare. I mean, I have spoken to so many men and women whose entire teams have turned over 100%. And 2022 felt like, okay, I didn't want to have a fresh beginning, but here we go. I'm going to make this work this year. And what I'm finding is a lot of disillusionment and frustration, feeling exhausted after a whole year of really pushing to make this work and having very high expectations that we could. The disillusionment is weighing heavy on many people. So if you're feeling that, you're not alone. This is the time when we need to look back and have some compassion and do it differently. What we were taught, what we've relied on because it worked so well for so long, is this do more mentality. I've just got to do more. I've just got to push through. Maybe you're hearing this language and you're recognizing it because you've heard yourself say it. I'm exhausted, but I just got to push through till X. Right now, I just have to ignore my body, ignore my exhaustion, and I just have to make myself work 5 days a week just to get through. Often, it's financially induced stress, fear, urgency. How many men and women I've spoken to whose income has significantly dropped over the past year or two, or they're anticipating in 2023 it won't look as abundant as it did in previous years. And the fear is being fueled by possibly not having enough money. Once again, once that starts happening, we think, okay, I just have to do more. I know, from a personal health and wellness standpoint, whenever we feel unhealthy or unfit or our bodies start breaking down, we think, okay, I just got to do more. What classes do I need to sign up for? What accountability programs do I need to sign up for? I need to do more to fix this problem. In business leadership, okay, I'm not seeing the numbers in my chair. I'm not seeing the number of patients per day that I used to. What do I need to do more of? What do we need to do more of? And that do more mentality is what burns us down to the ground. It's one thing showing up for something every single day really does work. If you just show up to work every day, you'll make money. If you just show up to work every day for decades, it will grow. There'll be ups and downs with the economy and with life happening as it will. But over time, there'll be that steady trajectory. It's the rule of the compounding effect. What happens is the burnout and the depression and the anxiety that undermines that success. See, we think if I just push harder, I'll get faster. If I just push harder, I'll see more result. And there is a very clear point where the opposite is true, where pushing harder actually starts working against you. And maybe that's where you found yourself recently, where you're not seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, where all you're seeing is a need to work more. That, my friends, is why I'm here with Radical Happiness Program, because there is another way. There is another way, and it's called the Live More mindset. And it's what we work on and develop within the program. It's based on understanding you. It's the how of how to hear that voice within inside of you, how to know what success and happiness looks like to you. Yes, you've heard that you shouldn't be chasing somebody else's algorithms of success. I've said that over and over on the podcast, and everybody who I interview, almost everybody says the same thing. Success is not outside of you, it's within. Happiness isn't come from outside of you. It's not the money you make. It's not the things you have. It's not the numbers or the external values that you see that define your happiness or even improve your happiness. It comes from within. The question is, how do you do that? That is what Radical Happiness for Practitioners is. It's the how of your why. How to tap back into your why. How to hear that voice inside of you, because I believe deeply that only you know what you need. Only you know what happiness looks like to you. And sometimes we get so marred by everything outside of us. We get so marred by what we think we should or shouldn't be saying or doing or achieving that we drown out that really precious voice inside of us. It's the whisper that matters most. So that's what Radical Happiness for Practitioners is getting back in touch with what matters to you, and then how to put that into place to serve you. So during the 12 weeks of this program, will your business transform? Yes, 100%. Will your life transform? Yes, 100%. Will you find and feel more happiness on a daily basis? Yes, that is the incredible intention. Because I know and I believe that as healthcare providers, if I walk in the door miserable, depressed, scared, urgent, fearful, I am not my best for my patients. I am not my best for my team. I'm not my best for myself. You know, it's one thing to burn me down to the ground, which is the worst thing. But haven't you noticed how it comes out sideways on everyone around you? Maybe you're the practitioner where your stress and overwhelm comes out loud and you start yelling or blaming. I mean, that was me for a time. But maybe you don't go to the angry place when you're stressed and overwhelmed. You go to the fawning place, which means you don't do the difficult things that leaders need to do. You don't step up into a challenging conversation. You shy away from conflict, and you aren't progressing your business from a place that you know needs to go. From a place of an inner voice that says, you need to make some difficult decisions here and lead this team with courage. Lead this team with hope and conviction, and maybe your anxiety and overwhelm shows itself in a place of just trying to please. People pleasing, because I've been that leader too, who just wants to please everybody around her. And what does that look like? That looks like tearing yourself to the ground. And once we're depleted in that place, there is no giving to anybody. And maybe you've saved that little piece for your patients, but it's coming out sideways with your children. Or maybe you've saved that little piece for your children and it's coming out sideways with your team. Or maybe the person who you are paying least attention to is yourself. Radical happiness for practitioners is the how behind the why. How to find out what self-care really looks like, not for everybody else, but for you. What does self-care look like in terms of boundary setting? What does self-care look like in terms of regulating your nervous system on a daily basis? What does self-care look like in terms of the voice inside your own head? What does self-care look like in terms of recognizing your trauma, your traumatic experiences from your past? Maybe it was in your childhood, and maybe it was 6 years ago by a senior partner in your practice, or maybe it was a team member that you experienced some significant trauma from that you haven't yet resolved. And every now and then, that trauma response shows its ugly head. That's what self-care looks like, is looking at and understanding those triggers in you, and then how to self-protect, how to self-heal, how to have self-compassion and forgiveness and self-love for yourself as the doctor. All of those skills are so critically important in being able to take care of the people around you so that you can show up not just as your best self, show up as the one that can access the intelligence that you have spent decades cultivating. Show up as that incredible soul-driven person who has enormous compassion and love for others and just sometimes has a hard time feeling it. It feels like people are out to get you, or maybe that the world is a negative place right now. Feeling like a victim of your circumstance or of your financial situation. This program, Radical Happiness for Practitioners, talks about all of that and how to step back into your power to find radical happiness, not just satisfaction, but radical happiness to live the most out of this life. You know, I believe that within each and every one of us lies an incredible, incredible leader. And I don't just mean a leader of your family or a leader of your team or a leader of your business or of your community. I mean a leader of your own dreams. And that is the most important thing to remember, is what are my own dreams? That bright-eyed, beautiful 19-year-old who had so much passion and excitement, what did she dream of? And how has it changed? And what can I give myself permission for now so that I can go into the world and make real change in this world, positive change, not change from a place of fear or trying to put a Band-Aid on a problem or trying to get rid of the bad guys, but from a place of empowered, radical happiness. That's how we make positive change. That's how we make generational change. That's how we make change within our profession. I believe in you, my friends. I believe in you, and I believe in this program deeply. Every aspect of this program is something that I've practiced myself. It is deeply, deeply intuitive. It is deeply linear-minded and practiced. The techniques and suggestions and processes that I offer in this course are very clear and easy to put into place at work. It gives you foundational tools from week number 1. I also have some visiting experts coming in, and my promise to you is that you will be a different person by the end of 12 weeks, no doubt. Well, if this sounds like an incredible opportunity, which it is, please check it out at www.thebizofhappiness.com/radical happiness. If you're driving and that's a very long website address to remember, I'll put it in the show notes. Come back to this episode and click on this link and you'll find the waitlist for Radical Happiness for Practitioners. And then ask me all the questions, whatever you want to know. I'm here to tell you. I am so excited to be working with you. I'm so honored to have this opportunity. If you're hearing this podcast episode, if you're in healthcare, if you're feeling disillusioned and overwhelmed, please check it out. This message is meant for you today. And remember, when you feel good, that's when we can do good. Bye-bye.